My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today, I'm going to continue talking about something that I have to keep on talking about to share this information to make sure that everybody has a very good understanding of what this information is. A lot of times we just don't know this information. That's why we don't do this, go by this information. A lot of times we've never been exposed to it in a way to be able to make sure that we're able to understand it without someone coming at you, you're a sinner and you're a dying, you're a this, and just coming at you and just saying, hey, it's that serious. But it's not that serious. And a lot of people don't enjoy being spoken to that way. A lot of people don't like their functions to be interrupted because you come in with a different viewpoint. That's where something is getting kind of complicated out here with what it is that we're doing. That if you don't want people to come in to disrupt your area, then don't go into other people's areas and try to disrupt their area. That's something that I get what you're doing and why you're doing it, but it's something that we as believers in Jesus Christ today, maybe 100 years ago, 2,000, no, not even 100 years, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6,000 years ago, things are a little different. We went about things differently. But today, we do things much differently because of the name of Jesus Christ, because of God, because of what he's been able to do to us, and because of the grace that he's put upon us. That we don't go and slaughter people and kill people and disown people and destroy people and do all these things anymore. We do some very, very different things out here. And for those that are out there just forcing yourselves in on people, I'm telling you, you're kind of the main reason and the cause on why more and more people don't want to believe in who Jesus is and why they want to push themselves away from him. Because they get in their mind that they need to be like you in a way, that they need to be on the rooftops and screaming at everybody and telling everybody that they're wrong and saying everyone's going to go to hell if you don't this and you don't that. And that's just not the way to be able to get people to understand who God is in any sort of way. That is a way to make sure for 100% fact to get them to push themselves away. And at the same time, today is something that is very fascinating to me. Is something to continue reading the stories in this Bible have let me know of what a lot of people are actually looking for and trying to get into. The God and the goddess and the goddesses that they're actually like seeking. There's no new one today. It's the same ones since this book has been created. People lead to the same type gods, the same beings, the same spiritual essences that they've always had. And it's for us today to say, I've heard that, I've seen that, and figure out how to be able to get away from that. Because there's something that is fantastic and very interesting and very eye-opening about what these gods are. These, I'm going to say, false gods that are of this world and are teaching you all about pleasures and teaching you all about you can have everything you want right here, right now, and doing all that for you. That they are able to give you what it is that they say they're able to give you. They are able to do what it is they say that they're able to do. They're able to show you these short-term things and these short-term graces and these short-term awesome things of success. But that's the thing. It's always going to be short-term because you have to keep going back and going back and going back in a way that, not that you got to keep going, because someone can say the same thing, oh, you got to keep praying, you got to keep praying, you got to keep praying. Yes, but there's one thing that I am going to say that is going to be much, much, much different, is you don't need to go back to Jesus and keep sacrificing and keep offering him things so that you can stay in his good graces, so that you can continue to be with him. You don't need to do any of that. And that's something that all of these other gods require that you have to do. That you have to sacrifice an animal to them. You have to sacrifice a child to them. You have to sacrifice incense to them. You have to sacrifice grasses and twigs and figs and weeds and things and items and clothing and pitchers. And you have to sacrifice all this stuff to them so that you can continuously keep staying in their good graces. And when you start to follow Jesus Christ, you're going to realize that's the number one huge difference that goes on here with the differences of a fake living alive of this earth God as opposed to one that created and is maintaining and running this world God. He's not asking for anything from you. He's not asking for anything other than just follow his commands. He's not asking you to go to the altar and keep on sacrificing things that you really, really care about, really, really appreciate, really, really love, really, really cherish. You don't need to do that. You don't need to go out there and spend hundreds and thousands and dollars of just trying to find these items to collect, to try to put and mix a concoction on how to be able to make this spell, potion, magic thing to burn it, to be able to give to an offer. These other gods, they require you to keep doing that to stay. And that's something that a lot of us are getting confused with, because in my opinion, that's way more work to have to keep on worrying about. I need to collect all of these items to be able to pray to this God so that I can stay in the good grace, so that the rain will come, so that my finances will be good, so that my relationships will be great, so that everything will be good to go. You have to continually every single week, sometimes every single day. Best case scenario is every single week you have to keep doing these rituals. And that's so time consuming, because it's not only just the ritual itself, but it's collecting all the items together to be able to do such a thing. And it's not even just that, but it's also connected to your finances with having to financially go out there and keep collecting all of these things so that you can be able to pray and be able to praise and be able to worship these gods. And that's something that I don't know how someone would think that that's an easier way, but there is one thing that you do get with that is I'm going to say almost like an immediate short-term success. But it's the same as doing alcohol, same as doing drugs, same as lust of the flesh, same as anything. That at first you do one ritual and you're good to go for a while. And then it gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. That now you're having to do 5 or 6 different rituals every single day. Now you're having to do 20 or 30 for you and yourself and for others, and to be able to maintain that same level of peace that you're looking for, that same level of joy that you're looking for. And then you're going to end up at that point that everyone in the history of everything has run into. And the history is going to explain exactly where you're going to head to with this. You're going to head to that level of frustration that you are no longer able to get that level of peace that you were looking for with doing this. That what used to be once a month to once a week to once a day to multiple times a day to over frequently times a day, that you're going to run into a scenario that it no longer is bringing you what you need. And you're going to realize that the things that you need to start sacrificing are going to start to get more and more and more dangerous. More and more dangerous, because the gods that in this Bible that everyone is having to sacrifice to, it goes from simple animals to simple grains to simple incense to simple soil oils, and then it starts to go into more extreme animals. It starts to go into more extreme to the point now it starts to deal with your children. It wants your firstborn son. It wants your daughters. It wants your lastborn kids. It wants all of these things from you that are going to be extremely, extremely devastating, that you're going to have to give up to be able to find that peace again. And in reality, when you're hurting, when you're struggling, when you're getting hit hard, slammed with just demonic activity inside of you all day, all night, you're gonna easily give up a kid, because you see that kid as okay, as whatever. I'm the one that's hurting. I'm the one that's struggling. I'm the one that needs that relief. And these demons are going to keep calling you. They're going to keep calling you. They're going to keep on dragging you, pulling you, and pulling you. And they're going to make you think that you are the only thing that matters, and everybody else, you can go ahead and do with them as you please, because you are the only one that matters. You are the God. You are the creator. You are the maker. So whatever you do to others, don't worry about it. It is what it is. Just keep bringing them to me, to keep allowing me to keep on sacrificing so that you can be able to survive. And that's what the demonic pull is going to start doing. It's going to start channeling everything to make you think that you are the creator of it all, that you can do with whatever you want out here, with anyone you want, with whatever you want. It's all for you to be able to control. It's all for you to be able to just have and be able to do whatever it is you want to. It's for you to be able to talk to any way you want, for you to be able to treat any way you want, and for you to be able to get to the point of being able to just sabotage yourself for majority of these commandments. And today, the one I want to talk about is one that is just straight up, straightforward, and it's just it's nothing to really put extra into it in reality. And it's in the book of Exodus in the 20th chapter, all the way over to the 14th verse, and it says, "You shall not commit adultery." Hold on one second. Hey, Shadow, all done. We good. My homie thinks that when he can't see me and I'm outside, he gotta do that extra protection, and it's a fascinating thing, but we're working on this dog to be the best of the best so that he can have the best of the best puppies come out of him, to be able to continue this best of the best mission that he's on. Being a dog that understands when to turn on and when to turn off. It's fascinating working with these animals. It's fascinating to be able to have the opportunity to be able to work with these animals. But do not commit adultery. It's straight up. And the one thing that I definitely want to really put on this, because it's something that was said to me, that not said to me, but I watched in the video, but the way that he was speaking, it was said directly to me, and speaking directly to me in a way of I used to do some things that I guess I would say I'm embarrassed of today, but it's been so long since I've done it, because he said this to me years ago, that I almost forgot that I used to do such a thing. And that's the concept of what someone else, a very, very interesting pastor said to me, that he was like, Mark, he didn't say Mark, but he was speaking directly to me in this message. Leave married women alone. Leave married men alone. Or for if a woman, leave married men alone. Men, leave married women alone. Don't even give them an option. Don't even give them a smile. Don't even give them a compliment. Do not give them any extra, because that is for their husband and for their wives to be able to do. And that could confuse people. That could put people in an absolute level of confusion. That could start that spark of those negative mindset that starts to get in of what if and what is and what is and all these things that can start happening. And it's especially for a married person, especially a married person. You should not ever be looking at another married person's spouse and thinking, hey, maybe we should talk. Maybe we should hang out. Maybe we should get some drinks. Maybe we should do such a thing. Maybe we should. It's okay. As long, even if no one knows, it's okay. No, someone's going to know and everyone's going to know. That's what always happens in the end. Because no matter what you say when you start it, it's going to be different when you're trying to finish it. And it's going to be extremely different when you decide to actually just put it to an end. When one person decides that I want this done, I want this out, and the other person decides like, no, I kind of want to keep this going. And the one that want to keep this going is because you're in such a demonic pull hole that you're going to have no choice but to end up, that other person is going to be so in their own world, in their own doing whatever they want, in their own just struggle, that they're going to expose everything that was going on. And they're going to push it out there so that everyone is able to see it. Everyone is able to have a good understanding of knowing what's going on, just to slander, damage, and destroy that person because they got their feelings hurt, because they decided that they didn't want to end it. And that's just usually, in most cases, in the best case scenario, that's the way things happen. Worst case scenario, life starts to get taken, because when someone finds out that another person is out here messing with their spouse, it could get into a very, very, very dangerous situation that someone is now, because there's so much emotional information going on here, emotional and spiritual ties going on here, that someone can lead to absolute, to the point of committing, what is that, the sixth command is thou shalt not murder. You can end up in that. And the same thing that it comes, this all works, it's fascinating how these commandments work, because they all kind of work together, all together as one. Because when you start to get into one, you start to break a whole lot of other ones. You don't usually just get on the one. That you start to just get intermingle with everything that's going on here. And that's why for me, the more and more that I keep on studying this, the more and more I keep reading this, the more and more I keep paying attention to it, the more I just realize how powerful and how true that is. That once you decide to, something as simple as this, once you decide to stop doing something, it's easier for you to start to bring more and more and more things in. When you decide to say to yourself, I'm going to stop drinking, and you stop drinking, and then you decide, okay, I'm just going to have one drink today. It's easy for you to have that one drink and say, I have a cigarette too, and hey, I'm going to go talk to that girl over there, and hey, I'm going to go do that over there that I know I shouldn't be doing. It's easier for it to start to come in. It's just like a snowball effect of things that start to happen. It's usually not just one that you're messing up, it's multiples. And when you start to run into that situation, that's where you get real sticky with what it is that you should be doing on this planet. Because you start to get into a position that now you're not only just damaging yourself, but you're also damaging others that are around you. And that's something that we should do our best to stay completely away from that, of how to stay away from damaging others. Like, I understand that some of us out here are in it to destroy ourselves, that we hate ourselves so much that you just don't care. But you should keep it with just that, and not trying to brush off and make sure that everyone else is feeling that exact same way as you, and try to do everything you can to try to damage and destroy other people around you to feel the same way that you are. And that's where I'm going to say you're going to start breaking pretty much all 10 of these commandments when you get to that point. And a lot of us need to really have a good self-reflection of how many of these am I actually just destroying right now and just not paying any attention to and just moving off. How many of these am I actually trying to convince other people to do? There's a time in my life that some of these commandments that I would convince others, hey, that's the way to go, man. This is what we should be doing. And I would have you join me and going on my adventures of things that I was doing, and trying to bring more and more people in on doing what's going against the commandments of God, doing everything to try to go against them. And I'm trying to convince other people too. And that's where for me, like earlier today of taking a quick nap, that I had to say, please, God, I'm sorry. And please forgive me, and please have grace on me, and please allow me to be able to continue to keep on living on this planet with knowing that I was doing such a thing, that I was bringing people in such a disastrous place, that I was bringing them in such a I don't know how else to say it other than this, disastrous right now. But it was a way of making sure that they were not going to be able to succeed in any way, that I was implanting into their brain of do what I do, because I'm wrong, who cares? And I don't care about myself, so I'm going to bring you to be able to come on and be able to do that exact same thing. And that's something that I had to pray real hard about. And that's the same thing with this commandment today of do not commit adultery, that I used to do things and say things and do stuff with other people that would make people get in very, very sticky situations, because I was just doing whatever it is that I felt like I wanted to do, and going wherever it is that I felt like I wanted to go, and not thinking that and knowing that and doing that what is going to be able to please God. that I was forcing people away from God, that I was bringing more and more into that. And that's something that I've been asking for forgiveness for, to be able to realize how to be able to move forward on this planet. But it's something that is very, very easy for us to be able to make sure that we're not running the situations is for one, do not be messing with anyone else's spouse. Leave them alone. If you see that someone, if you hear that someone is married, leave them alone. Let the pressure off. Let them live their life. Let them just enjoy their marriage, and let them just be in something that if you wish you could be, you will be if you could leave them alone. If you could let them go and just let them live their lives and just bless them and just say, good job, congratulations, have a great life, and do what you got to do. Don't be looking at that woman and saying to her, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so amazing. You're so sexy. You're so amazing. Stay away from those women. Stay away from those guys that are already married. And I don't know what it is, but personally, me in my life, from what I have seen more on the side of the women trying to take men away than men trying to take women away. Most men don't want to take a woman from their husband, because that's where it runs in a very sticky situation. That's where the violation of commandment number 6 comes in, is the whole concept of murder really starts to come in, because guys get real in their feelings when someone decides to try to take their female away from them. But I've just personally seen in my life of more female women. I can't even use the word women when it comes to that. But girls that are trying to take husbands away because they just have it in them is like some sort of safe bet or safe area, or they know that it's okay. But it always ends up in a very, very sticky situation, because it's not only just a few people that get hurt or your own self that gets hurt in the end. It's going to be a whole lot, and you're only just forcing people away from doing what it is they should be doing and being on the righteous life that they should be on. That they're doing everything they can, and there's no reason for you to have to put so much extra pressure upon them. Just bless them and move them on in peace. Don't try to get in the middle of it. Don't try to sabotage that. Don't try to get in your own feelings saying, oh, I wish I could this and I wish I could that. If that's what you're looking for and that's what you're desiring, then pray and ask about it, and then get your own. Don't try to take someone else's, because when you take someone else's, I'm telling you, you're not going to have your own. Every time that you take from somebody else, that's every single time that you are going to be let down, every time, over and over and over. And I've seen this, and I've actually experienced this in a personal way in my own life, of watching how people were with me and watching what they would do, and then seeing in the end what would happen to them. Like, they got times 10 what they did out. And it's not for me to sit here and look at you. I'm sad for you, but it's for me to sit here and just say, like, I know that is real. That if you try to take from somebody, that whatever that they get next or you get next, like, you're going to get taken from. You're going to continue to keep getting taken from, because that's what you're constantly out here doing. And whatever you're doing, I'm telling you, that's what's going to come to you. Not in the way of what is that called, manifestation or synchronicity or none of that stuff. It's in a way of life lessons, of realizing what you need to work on and what you need to grow up and what you need to get away from and what you need to focus more of your time, more of your energy on. That whatever you're focusing your time and energy on, that's what's going to keep staying into your life. And if your life is, I want to take this husband from this wife, then that's all that's going to keep coming to you, is other women that are going to continuously keep trying to take your spouse away from you. They're going to come in instantly. Every time you get into a relationship, 15 minutes, you're going to have someone is going to be trying to take him away. And it might be even your best friend right next to you, that you can see it, but you're just like, no, it's not. It's okay. I'm better this time, and he's really with me this time. And you're going to run into a very, very disastrous situation in the end, where you're going to be hurting. You're going to be hurting real bad. But something with that is very interesting that goes on today, because a lot of us are doing some very negative things and praying to the wrong gods and using certain tools and tactics to think that that's the way to be able to get the spouse that you're looking for, and doing certain love spells and magic things to try to convince people to stay with you. And for some people, I'm going to say that works. But for majority of people out here, especially ones that believe in Jesus Christ, it's not going to work. And you're only setting yourself up for failure, because all you're doing is breaking. When you're doing that, you are officially going against pretty much every commandment in the Bible at that moment. And that's why you're not going to be able to get the success that you're looking for. You may get some short-term stuff. I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you that. You're going to get some short-term stuff. But as far as the long term and how do I keep and how do I sustain and how do I keep this going on forever and forever, the only way to be able to get that is through God, and it's through Jesus Christ. That's the only way that you can be able to get that. because you're gonna have to put some potion together and pray and sacrifice this and sacrifice that and do this ritual and do this spell and do these things, and you're gonna have to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. The second that you see that person starts to just slip away a little bit, you got to double down. Oh, I got to do this potion even harder. And then that person slips away a little bit more. I got to triple down and I got to do this potion even more. And you're going to have to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it to realize in the end that you're going to get nowhere, because that person is just going to slip away and just leave and be gone off in abyss. And you're going to be sitting there and just worse off than you were when you first started this, and worse off to the point that you wish. And sometimes I know that, why am I even doing this? And then that's the Spirit of God coming inside of you for once, saying, because He's not ever going to give up on you. You're going to have it in you. Why am I even doing this? And that's where God is going to creep in and say, you don't need to. You don't need to do that. You can come on over here. You don't need to keep doing these sacrifices. You don't need to keep doing these rituals. You don't need to keep doing these spells. You don't need to keep doing any of that stuff. That stuff is leading you nowhere. That stuff is giving you, you're praying to gods that are not actually able to give you anything. They're able to give you a fakeness, a false representation of something, but nothing actually truly real. It's not going to be there. And there's something that I know for a fact is fascinating about this world, that God is in the way this world works, is very interesting way. That you're going to be praying and praying and praying and doing these things and doing these spells, doing this stuff to try to find that partner that you're looking for. And then you're going to end up in a situation where you find someone that's just absolutely phenomenal. And then you're doing these spells and he goes further away. You're doing these spells and he goes further away. He's doing another spell and he goes even further away. And then he's just going to be gone, because you're constantly doing these things. And then it's almost like a look at what is actually out there for you to be able to have, for you to be able to be with. But since you want to keep on being disobedient, since you want to keep on doing all these things, thinking it's going to be able to be the way for you in your future, you're going to watch what you actually want just leave and just disappear from you. It's not ever going to even come back. It's not going to show up. And you're just going to be stuck here, keep doing these spells and keep doing this stuff. That's the power of what I'm going to say as God is when He tries to teach us lessons about what it is that we're doing and where it is that we're going. That I know that this has happened to me many times in my life, where I've seen some things and I was just praying. And in most cases, what I used to do was pray to myself and knowing and thinking and believing that I was God, that I can create whatever it is that I wanted, that if I dreamed it, I could have it, and I can make it just off my own will, that I don't need no God because I'm the God. And I would constantly keep doing that and thinking that and believing that. And I would constantly keep doing things on just, oh, maybe if I do this, then I'll be able to have that. And maybe if I do this, maybe I'll be able to have that. And realizing that none of that was able to get me anywhere and allow me to do anything that I needed on this planet. And until I just surrendered myself and said, hey, Jesus, you got me, right? You're going to be able to take care of me. I don't need to worry about this. I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to put here. And I've come to realize that that's exactly how my life works today. That's exactly everything that goes down with me today. That's exactly the way that everything is just working for me today. Today I got a little in my feelings with, like, I have too many chickens right now. And I don't even know how it just showed up. I got them breaking out and running here and going there. I got baby ones just want to take off and do wild and be crazy. And then I'm looking at that and thinking about that for a second, like, that's phenomenal. That's amazing. That's the problems that one person would want to be able to have. And that's the power of when I finally just released me being in control, me being the one that's doing it all, me making it all happen, and giving all my thanks to God. Say, thanks, Jesus. Thanks, Jesus. Thanks for this, and thanks for this, and thanks for this, and thanks for this. Then I start to see the everything just starts to transform and change in my life. Start to become something different. Start to become so much greater. Start to become so much better. And that's what I would want for more and more people to have. Not thinking that you got to keep on praying to these all they are demons and goblins and trolls and devils, that you're going to be able to get what you want. You're not. You definitely 100% sure are not going to get what you're actually looking for. You're going to get a fake image of what it is, because that's what it gives you. It can't give you anything real. It can't give you anything to actually hold on to. It can't give you anything to actually keep and be able to have forever. He's able to give you something very, very short term. And that short term is going to feel good. And that's where you're going to get that addiction of that feeling, that high, that rush of, I got it. I actually got it. It actually followed through. And then you're going to keep getting these rushes. And I'm telling you, your rituals and your things are only going to have to keep getting greater and greater and greater, to the point that at this point of what I've been reading and where we are and looking in this whole, the times of Babylon, right through David and right after David, that we're going back to worshiping in a way of having to slaughter our children to these gods to be able to get our grasses to grow, to be able to get rain, to be able to have a day of peace and have a day of relaxation. We're having to start to do that again. And that's the route that we always keep going. The same gods from the beginning of this book that everyone wants to pray to are the same gods that everyone today are still praying to. very fascinating that when I hear how they look and what they did and what their characteristics were like and what the people had to do to be able to keep with them and stay with them, is the same stuff we do today. So it's the exact same God. It's that God that Baal, was Baal, and Demion. Both of them guys right there, or girls, or who knows what they are so powerful that even in the beginning they were getting the people away from God. They were getting the people away from all the followers. They were getting the people away from the Spirit. They were getting them away. And then still to today, they're still doing that same thing, making that same stuff happen. And that's for me to sit here and say to you today, stop paying attention to those. Start praying and start asking for forgiveness from the one true God, and that's Jesus Christ. And do everything you can to stay away from having to sacrifice this and sacrifice that so that you can be able to have a day of peace. And realize that day of peace is going to come once you start to get in tune and get in with having a good understanding of knowing who the true God is. The one that is actually going to be able to bring you that long term. Not the one that's going to give you that. I mean, he may. Because for me personally, he gave me a sense of peace and a sense of relief instantly, overnight. When I was needing it, when I was desiring it, when I needed it. I needed it. That was more than a want, more than a desire. It was an absolute need. That for me, that did happen. That I got that sort of peace, but it was something that next I started to realize what it is and who God was and what he actually commands from us and what he actually desires from us and what it is that he's looking for from us. And he's not looking for us to do any sort of work at all in reality. What I do here is not work for God. I'm not sitting here and I have to do this or I'm going to die, or I have to do this or something bad's going to happen to me. I want to do this because of what's happened to me. I want to do this because of what has been going on for me. I want to do this because I want to be able to help the next person be able to have the same level of success that I've been able to have. I want to do this because once I start to get a good understanding of knowing who God is and what he's all about and what he's able to do, I have no choice but to try to help out the next person be able to have that exact same thing. I want to do what it is that I do. I'm not forced to do anything. There's a time and day that I used to say that to myself. And then there was a day that a revelation had to come to me. It was like, Mark, you wrong, dude. You ain't got to do anything. All you got to do is stick to my commands and just continue to keep praying and continue to keep on living. That's all that you need to do. But I want to come out to be able to say something to someone else, to be able to help them, be able to be on their journey of figuring out how to be able to get away from the things that they're doing. And with that, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for a very, very interesting day today and to continue to keep on reading some very interesting stories that I have a extreme different understanding of this Bible today as compared to what I've ever had in my whole life, because I'm actually going page by page, word by word, and just reading the entire thing, going forward with it. So a lot of times when I'd be very confused on why I'm not going to lie, I'm still going to say I'm a little confused with certain way that certain people use the passages of going here and going here and going here and going here, because in reality, the reasons that a lot of things are repeated is because it's like a summary. It's like they tell the whole story, and then in the next book, there's a summary section of like what was just said there, and then it moves on. So there's going to be repeats of things that are being said because it's a summary. It's not giving you the whole story. It's just giving you some about the story. So each and every single chapter has that going on with it, that there's a summary being stated about what was just previously said. And then there's whole books on what was just said prior to the past 5 books. And then there's another whole book that's just prior to the last 10 books. So it's just constantly doing that. And I don't know why, but it's just fascinating to me because I never knew that. I never had any sort of understanding with that. No one ever taught me that. No one ever says that that's the way that's what's going on here. That there are actually summaries. So if you really want to fast track and get what you want, the information that's really required, not required, but in reality, yeah, the information to really give you the true history of what was going on, you don't need to read the whole thing. You just need to read the summary parts of what's going on to be able to get a very, very good, clear understanding of exactly what's happening here. That I don't know why there's just not people that are putting this together in that way. Maybe there are, that I just don't see it, but I just have never yet to see someone explain it in such a way that just sounds so simple, because it is. It's so simple. But yet everyone has always put everything to be so complicated. But I think it's the main thing of just this past, especially 100 years since we've had any sort of media and any sort of recording devices, that no one's actually put the time in anymore. We're not doing that anymore. And for the ones that are, it's almost like they're trying to keep that information hidden for some reason. But no, everyone's just so focused on a football game, a basketball game, a hockey game, a sports, a music festival thing. We're so focused on all these things that it's like it's super confusing to me. And it's like, especially when I was in the military, I always realized like there's something every month that was like, we got this 4-day, this 3-day, this 5-day weekend, this this party thing, this festival thing. There's something going on all the time. So it's like there's something that's always trying to draw us away from being able to actually have time, have experience, and actually being able to read this book. That there's something interesting that a lot of people are saying may happen in the future about the whole internet breaking down and this and that and things shutting up and shutting down. That in reality, that might be a blessing to more people on this planet than a curse, because you actually pick up a Bible and actually read it. You'll actually have to have no choice, because you're not going to have anything else to really feed your ego, to feed your mind, to be able to do what you do. And something like that would almost be a blessing in a way, to be able to help us, to be able to humble us, to be able to slow us down, to be able to realize and recognize what actually truly does matter. A lot of that we do out here, it just doesn't matter. And I'm thankful to be able to see that, understand that, and know that, and believe that. And just really, seriously believe that most stuff that we're all out here trying to pay attention to, it does not matter at all. And I'm just so thankful to be able to be here, to be able to keep doing the same thing that I'm doing, even though I've done some very, very ruthless things in my life, I will say. Even though I've broken all of these commandments in my life, I have the grace of God to be able to continue to be here and be able to move forward with being able to say that I'm not perfect and I'm never going to be perfect. I'm going to fail at some things, and I have failed at some things. And that's kind of the beauty of, I'm going to say, what this life is, to continue to keep getting better and continue to keep working on ourselves to be able to get ourselves into a better place. And I'm so thankful for that.